Hello, Chef.
Hey, Chef.
What's up, Chef?
So, this meeting is being recorded. I'll just get that little message. Did you hear
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
that? Okay. I wondered if it was just me.
Nope, it pops up every time.
And then you have to say, got it.
All right. Well, I got 6 o'clock.
Yep.
Yep.
So let me open this.
Where's Jen?
She usually comes late.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
That's a bone-in ribeye.
That's bone in. What do you call it?
Bone-in ribeye?
There's a name for it.
Oh, I have no idea.
There's actually 2 names. Sort of depends on what part of the country you're in. It's a tomahawk ribeye.
Oh, see, the tomahawks I see are like exuberant amount of bone.
That's what I was thinking too.
It's the entire rib. So
Yeah.
tomahawk is the whole rib. This is just cut. It's also a cowboy ribeye.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever see those, yeah, you go to a steak place, if you see it on the menu, if you were to order it, if there's not a bone in, you know they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
Just copying some menu from somewhere. Okay, you two. So right, if at least for now, Lynn, April, these here's the 2 questions. These are the 2 questions for the next 3 slides.
Okay.
We're going to look at 3 things, and I really am going to try this time to shut up, and y'all, you two do the talking. I want you to address both of these. Both of you address both of these with each picture. So here you go. Here's first one's up.
The shingling looks nice.
Yeah, the shingling looks nice. I don't know. I don't know if the almonds are done. They don't look like they were cooked or toasted. Improvements, I don't know if I like the potatoes the way they were. And what is on, oh, it's compound butter. Okay.
Yeah, that's the butter. Okay, so we're at a point now. Instead of so Lynn, I appreciate what you have said, but what would you do different? So I don't like how the potatoes are laid out.
Yeah, what do I do different? I don't know, like put them, I'm trying to show you on the picture. Put them in different sections of the plate around or some, I'm not really sure. It just doesn't, it looks, I have no idea what I would do different.
Okay, that's fair.
But it just doesn't look right to me.
I would maybe lay the steak on top of the potatoes.
Okay. First just joined us, so we're going to throw her into the deep end of the pool as well. You're the sous chef. This is your kitchen, and tonight you're getting ready to present your grilled ribeye that should be medium rare, your fingerling potatoes, and your broccoli with compound butter. This is our first plate. What do you like? What's good? What do you see? What would you point out that that is noteworthy or worth commenting in a positive way? And in addition to that, what would you do different? You're the sous chef. You're the one that's in the kitchen. You're going to approve this, or you're going to say, I think we need to make this plate dot, dot, dot.
I think the broccoli looks great. I like that the meat is shingled. The seasoning on the potatoes looks good. I mean, it looks yummy, you know. I would have preferred the potatoes maybe sort of organically put together on the side rather than like kind of in a line in that moon shape. I think the sauce looks a little clumpy to be on top of the steaks. I might have done a, you know, kind of an arc around the steak with the sauce or.
Well, it's
some
not a
creative-
sauce. It's the
Oh,
compound.
that's the butter. That's the
Yeah,
butter.
it's the butter.
Okay.
I thought it was sauce at first too. I was like, that's lumpy.
Yeah, it kind of looks like tartar sauce to me.
I think the steak's overcooked.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so my butter, you know, well, anyway, sorry. Yeah, when I placed my butter down, you know, it needed to be, you know, I had to address it as well. So I totally get it. But if I were serving this plate, I would have addressed the butter, meaning, you know, made sure that it had either melted or it was foamy or, you know, maybe even a perfect round circle of the butter if you were going to place it on top. And then the steaks don't look medium rare. The steak does not look medium rare.
Yeah, that's not. This is right on the edge of medium to medium well.
Mhm.
I would call this medium well. You still get a little hint of pink, but it's mostly grayed throughout. Now, this happens. We need to be aware of this. This happens if you let your meat rest too long. And I don't know how long this food rested before the compound butter went on it. Y'all should be aware that anytime we use butter itself, like a compound butter to be our sauce, that needs to be applied when the whatever, or steak in this case, when whatever is still piping hot, so that the butter can start to melt. By the time it gets to the table, the butter should be soft. The perfect presentation, I guess, of using compound butter on top of the steak is timing it so that the steak goes out warm, but the butter is not completely melted and liquefied, just giving a nice sheen on top of the steak. It should hit the table where, that disc that you've cut out of your sausage-like little tube of butter, you cut out your disc and you've laid that on top. Then right when it hits the table, it is so soft that, just a little zhuzh, a little swish with the fork or a knife, and it spreads and basically disappears. That's perfect. Notice how this plate attempts to have kind of a half circle line and a straight line. Your eye kind of sees a half circle and a straight line that intersect each other. From a linear standpoint, that's a good approach to plate presentation. I'll emphasize this a little bit more. I've shared this in some comments earlier today with a couple, 2 or 3 of you. Just briefly mentioned this last week, but the more we're gonna slice and shingle things, the more I want you to think of the rule of odds. It is really, it's true. It's really more eye appealing to see 3 slices of steak instead of 4, or to see 5 thinner slices of steak than 4 or 6. So, okay, that's all we're going to say about this one. Anybody have anything else? Good or whatever? Not bad. I will tell you, I'm not going to identify who this plate comes from, but this is, I would say, this student's first real attempt at breaking away from the Denny's, Cracker Barrel, cafeteria, compartmentalized food. So break away from that in this plate. And that's something that's really good and noteworthy. Next victim. Is that too small? Are you able to see that fairly well?
I can. Yeah, I definitely, the potatoes are very eye-catching, the way they're standing up.
Height is
Yes.
things that's gonna draw your eye.
I like how the broccoli's standing up also.
Mhm.
Okay.
They're all in one direction.
Yeah, and they're all facing the right direction, and I can't really tell the color of the meat. The picture's kind of, hold on. It looks about right.
Hardcore medium right there.
Yeah,
That's a medium steak. You need to have a little more red when you're solid pink. You're medium.
What's this?
what is that sauce in the back?
Not so it appears to be, if you look at the very top left-hand corner,
The butter.
I'm assuming that that's the butter. And it appears that this is using that compound butter, either not melting it all the way to foamy, or
She's really good.
okay, I don't want to identify the owner of this plate, but
I think we already
we're
know.
all friends. Hey, Jennifer,
I'm pretty sure.
Jennifer, what'd you do with the butter to create the sauce?
Oh, goodness. Um, So I put a perfect circle on top of, and I wanted to ask you about this, on top of, behind the potato there,
Oh, yeah.
that was a circle of the compound butter. But
You see a little bit of it right there, if you can see my cursor.
yeah, so it melted. But I will say, just because of plating and wanting it to be picture perfect, it didn't melt as fast as I would like. So I got my torch out. So would you do that in a commercial kitchen?
Absolutely, all the
'Cause
time.
I didn't want to put it in the microwave so it wouldn't, I didn't want to cook the meat any longer. So I grabbed my torch.
I've been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and I did make an arc of the sauce in the back, and I just melted it in my squeeze bottle, or melted it and then put it in my squeeze bottle so I could do a quick little swish. I just thought it would bring another pop of color.
It does. Nice.
But I will say about the rule of odds, I do believe in that, but it's also, I think, okay sometimes. Well, what do you think, Chef? Is it okay sometimes? Like the potatoes, I thought they looked perfect just having 2.
So there is no such thing as a hard, fast rule, especially when it comes to plating. And so that's part of what I'm hoping to wake up in your mind, or the light bulb that will go off eventually, hopefully before this semester ends. this is one of those things that we all want to hear what is the right way. And unfortunately, there's not the right way. There's my way, there's my vision, there's my creativity. And that's okay, and that's good, and that's fine. If it's my kitchen, I kind of want it done my way. I'm wanting you, the whole class right now, you three, I'm wanting you to grasp the idea of, you know, the ingredients, you know what's going on the plate, you have a vision in mind. Now you play the role of the sous chef in the kitchen, and here is the plate that's being presented to you by the kitchen for your approval, for you to say, put your blessing on it. Yes, this is the plate that's going to go out to our guests. Or, you know what, I would like to see ... I'd like you to do this a little different ... Whatever this might be. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you
I
had,
refer to the rule of odds because that is generally eye appealing and acceptable. I would rather see cut this size on this plate. Look at how full the plate is, given the size of the plate. You completely change the dynamic of the plate if you take just one of those strips of steak away. You might even that might even I wouldn't change the amount of broccoli. Now we're starting to see, you know, the amount of protein versus the amount of starch versus the amount of vegetable. That's take one of those strips of steak away, and that's pretty good. The ratios that Miss Smith would like us to work with when you take healthy foods and nutrition, that might change a little bit. You may curve around that line of broccoli, which just changes things just a little bit.
what about the herbs in the middle? What do
Yeah.
you guys think?
Not a fan.
Well, I'll tell you why I
I
did
wanted
not.
everybody else to comment first.
Oh, no, that's what I would love to, everyone else's opinion.
Yeah. I would have put another potato in there instead of the herbs.
Okay.
Personally.
April, what do you think?
Whatever.
I would have done more potatoes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, it is gorgeous.
Well, no, I love the candid feedback. So no one ever hold back, please, if it's my plate.
Well, all right. No.
But the reason why I added the herbs, chef, is because I just worked 2 night shifts at the Alotian. So got to see the fine dining, you know, plating that they do. And I'm telling you, they put herbs on everything,
Yeah, not
I
a
mean,
fan.
every dish. So that's one of the reasons why I added it.
When I judge competitions, and this is a pretty hard sticking point when candidates come in for chef certification. This is should be a hot plate. You heat the plate before you put hot food on the plate. This is hot food. This is raw produce, which is cold. It is a culinary no-no. So if you have a good, fresh, good, high quality hamburger from a reputable place, and I'm not talking about the McDonald's or the Wendy's or the Burger King, but you go to a nice place, you go to Amanda Ivy, her food truck, and you get a really nice burger. If you get that burger fresh off the grill, and if Chef Ivy were to take a couple of leaves of iceberg lettuce or romaine lettuce or whatever, and put that lettuce right on that hot, fresh burger patty and then serve it out to you, what happens to that lettuce in about 4 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes? What happens to that lettuce?
Well,
It gets wilty.
Let that burn into your brain hole. Cold produce, raw produce on a hot plate is kind of no-no number one. No-no number two, and this is not true for every single chef in the world, but in food today, there's more of a movement today to take us away from the 1970s, an orange twist and a maraschino cherry placed on a small little cup of iceberg lettuce with some curly parsley. So you've got some green and some orange and some red that gives some eye pop on the plate. Or the 1970s and 1980s, we're going to make a key lime cheesecake, a key lime pie, and put a little whipped cream on it and put a nice big pretty fresh mint leaf on it. We want to garnish our food with the food that's on the plate. So the application here with the broccoli, the use of the broccoli, what you did, Jennifer, and the color of the broccoli, to me, you don't need that added green. It doesn't pop because of the broccoli that's already there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That is designing the plate so that the plate garnishes itself from the key ingredients. If you're gonna put some herb around the plate, a little sprinkle, or some nuts all over the place, those sprinkles and those little rubs and that you blow on the plate need to all be ingredients that are used in the dishes somewhere. Let's drive on. See, y'all just know this already anyway. I can't shut up for nothing. Here we go.
Okay, first of all, I need to know where this plate is from. So somebody has to own up to it at some point and tell me where the plate's from.
I'll tell you after y'all beat it up.
Okay.
I like it.
I love it.
Very unique, like a feather fan type thing.
Are
Not
those-
very many potatoes. I mean, not broccoli, but
Yeah, I'd want more broccoli, but everything else I love. Is that on the right, is that onions?
It's onions.
Okay. Yeah, I love the sauce application.
the
What is
steak
that?
color good.
Is that in the middle? Is that the butter?
It's what it looks like.
This right here,
Like potatoes to me.
I know, I just thought so too.
I believe that's the butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
This may be pan sauce is kind of,
That's what I was thinking.
this may be remnants from, I can't tell for sure if this was exactly grilled. Remember, I kind of gave y'all, if you don't have a grill, you could broil it. A couple of people, I think, did a sear on the stovetop or used the stovetop grill. So I'm pretty lenient about stuff like that anyway. I believe this if you can see for some right here and you can see out here, I think that's just pan sauce or pan remnants of however it was cooked.
It's
Okay, so let
definitely-
me weigh in because it's small plate.
Okay, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, so.
It's very pretty.
Ariel, you're very good
Well,
at
thank
plating.
you. Look, I'm getting better. I'm working on it.
No, last week, I
But
got one plate last week too, and it was so good.
Oh, well, thank you. But that sauce underneath it is that brown butter
Mhm.
sauce. And then,
That
yeah, that little splash in
practically-
the middle is the compound butter.
That's the compound butter.
It is.
Y'all look at this. This is probably 10 or 15 seconds before a perfect brown butter. Let this, oh, what just happened? Okay. You see what we're going to do next? Y'all, brown butter is wonderful. Brown butter is, it's nutty. It's good with vegetables. So let me ask the peanut gallery. What do y'all say about the onions here on the side?
I like the onions.
I would have left them off.
I would have left them off.
I would have added a little bit more broccoli. Otherwise, I think it's perfect as is.
All right, Jennifer, what would you do with the broccoli? Give some, I want us to get to specific feedback now. The rest of the semester, I want to get to, needs to be more of this, needs to be maybe less of that. Let's get specific. So you give instructions to your kitchen. What does more mean? What does that look like? What does less mean? Blah, blah, blah. So a couple of y'all have said more broccoli. What do you think more broccoli? Tell me what that means.
I would have placed it above, kind of, staggered next to the steak. I don't think you could do it on the other side of not above the steak, above the broccoli, like to the side. Yes, there, like gone on up. I don't think you could do it opposite of the broccoli. I don't think there, because then it's too symmetrical. It's too perfect.
Mm.
So that's what
So that's what I was thinking. I do 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. I see what she did was 5 pieces of steak, but I would take 3 more pieces or 4 more pieces of broccoli and put it on the other side of the plate, on the other side of the steak up top.
Ooh,
I like-
yes.
I
Yes,
like
I
that.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah,
idea.
like right up. I'm trying to show you
Like to the side.
down,
the brown
down by the
Yes.
side. Yeah,
There, yes.
Like in here?
yeah.
Yes. That's
So
the
like
answer.
opposite.
That's the answer.
And I would have charred those onions and put them on top of the steak.
Um,
And so, Chef, I do have a question about the steak. Because you
Uh-huh.
said it don't look like it's grilled, but I did it on the stovetop on one of those grill pans.
I just can't tell. I'm
Okay.
saying it looked like or doesn't look like. I can't tell, and that's fine. That doesn't matter. I'm not after looking for those dark black, grill marks, grill lines. I'm actually looking more at, compared to the other steaks that we've seen today. What do y'all say about this degree of doneness?
Perfect.
It's perfect.
So Chef, can I ask a question about that?
Yep.
So, I told you last week, I hadn't even turned on my grill before. My husband is the grill guy. So that's not something that I've ever watched or participated in. And he usually gets our steaks, just like I like them, which is medium rare. Really, it's kind of in between a medium rare and a medium, probably. But our grill, in order to get the grill marks that we were trying, he was assisting me, but just because I've literally never done it before. But in order to get that, it really, it cooked so fast. And not, well, I shouldn't say it cooked fast, in order to leave it on there long enough to make the marks and turn it 4 times. When we pulled it off, it was pretty much a medium. So any tips there?
This is one of those things. So Jennifer, you're hearing this as you're also doing food 1. Everyone else has already taken food 1 and heard me say this over and over and over again. You've just asked is one of those practice. The more time you spend on a grill, the more time you spend cooking meat and getting accustomed to this feel: rare, medium rare, medium well, and well done. It is critical So important that we understand carryover cooking. Aha, one of your key terms from maybe a few weeks ago or last semester. What's carryover cooking? Somebody?
I don't know the exact term, properly probably, but it's when you let it rest and it comes up to more temperature.
Under the
Continues to
laws
cook.
of thermodynamics,
Yeah, it keeps cooking kind of.
some of the heat on the very surface is given away, but some of the heat for a few minutes, the meat, the protein, the anything tries to preserve some of the heat and it draws inside. And so over 5 to 7 minutes, the internal temperature of protein, muscle protein, will rise 5 to 7 degrees right off the heat. So 10 minutes is a good rest time. It will go from whatever degree of doneness it was when it came off the grill, generally to the next degree of doneness. So if you cook it already to the feel of medium rare, you're going to be a perfect medium rare right when it comes off the grill. But when you let it rest, the internal temperature, it's continuing to cook, carryover cooking. And so you end up more like medium. If you go a little bit too long, you end up going to medium. It's going to be medium well by the time you cut it open. So we have to practice this enough so that we get confident, we can trust the physics of what's going on. We can trust that this chicken is coming off the grill still a little raw or doesn't feel like it's cooked all the way. The steak still feels a little bit raw, but trust that it's going to end up where you want it because of carryover cooking, the laws of thermodynamics, the physics that's going on that only God can change those rules. And so everyone did a great job, especially for those of you that experienced something like this for the very first time. I didn't ding anybody, for you gave me a medium instead of a medium rare. I probably left those comments because they're fair comments. In fact, everybody did well. There might have been a point or two. I don't think I deducted more than 3 or 4 points off of any presentation plate. And those were, maybe the plate was a little busy. Maybe the plate was, a little bit haphazard. I don't know, go back and check your comments. Anyway, I don't know, Jennifer, if that answered your question, if I just talked too much and.
No. I did think it was funny though. My husband worked at Colton's for like 3 years in college or maybe right after. And he said he kind of did your finger example to me. He was like, do you know how to tell? And I was like, well, that we just learned that. So I guess that's something that even 20 years ago they were doing.
Oh yeah, this been around for a long, long time. I like it. Okay, can you say anything else about this plate? Anybody?
Jennifer wanted to know where you got the plate from, Ariel.
Yeah, it came from Walmart.
Yay! Adding it to my cart.
All right, let's talk about this week's lab just a little bit, very briefly. I'm not going to do like we did last week, and I'm not going to break down cooking methods of each thing. Here you see pictured a whole chicken. I believe I've not heard anything different from Jennifer Dancer at the school. you will be trussing quail. You'll be.
Hen.
Cornish hen.
Cornish hen.
Okay, so that's even better. You're going to be in between. A game hen. Everybody knows what a Cornish game hen is.
Yes, chef.
Mhm.
It's four
Them all the time.
chicken. It's not a particular type of chicken. It's not a certain breed of chicken. It's just it's older than an egg, and it's not a grown up. Do what?
We told my son that it was a baby chicken.
It is.
He didn't want to eat it. I don't want to eat the baby.
It's already dead. I mean,
I know.
so I want you to understand. I don't know that any of the videos that I curated for this week's lab really helps clarify this point very much. So I want you to understand why we truss. It's a good method if you've never done it before. Hopefully you'll be converted. If you're gonna roast whole chicken, roast your turkey for Thanksgiving and Christmas, or why we only do turkey for Thanksgiving, I don't know. But if you just lay the bird in your roasting pan and you pop it in the oven, chances are you're gonna burn the wings, especially the wing tips, and you may burn this part of the leg. Now, there's not really any meat there, but similar to scorching the bottom of a cream sauce, any burns can affect the overall flavor of everything that you're eating, especially right here in this area, right?
Now, why is that, Chef?
Do what?
Why is that?
Why does if I burn this, why does it affect flavor elsewhere?
Yes.
Even though this is dead, legs especially right here, it's dark meat, but you bite in that chicken leg and everybody freaks out and has a cow, or you bite into the thigh and you chew down to the bone and it may be red right near the bone. And everybody freaks out. I've got raw chicken. Chances are you don't have raw chicken. If you see translucent muscle fibers, you still have raw chicken. But if it's firm meat, but it's just red, in the leg and in the thigh, that's where you have the largest concentration of bone marrow. And that bone marrow is being cooked when this is roasting. And so flavor that's here, it may be negligible unless you're a super taster or you've got a really hyper refined palate. The exposure of the bone here, and oftentimes these things are mistreated in the kill plants, and right just forward of this joint, it's broken here. All in here, when it starts burning, that char and the flavor of that char is working its way up and around and through all of that bone marrow. You're going to get a little bit of char taste. Not everybody's going to taste it. I'll taste it. Chef McAfee will taste it. Chef Rogers will probably taste it. One or two of you might taste it. But we avoid that by bringing all those outside parts, leg and thigh, tucking the wing in, and bringing the leg and thigh into the body, so that it's almost like we have this ball of chicken. That is trussing. If I gave you one or two videos, I think, about trussing. If you go to YouTube or you just Google how to truss a chicken, do a search in YouTube, trussing chicken. You'll find 952, I don't know how many. They'll all be different videos and they'll all have different methods, and whoever's describing and demonstrating that will sound very authoritative, and their way is the right way. Their way is the only way. That is the biggest cartload of horse hooey on the planet. Okay. There is no the way, and every chef is going to have their way, and their way is going to be efficient. I want you to understand what trussing is, why we do it. Now, all you need to do is accomplish the why. How you get there is up to you. You may play with the butcher's twine. You may play with it a little bit so that it all works for you. You do you in this regard. All you're trying to do is keep the wings. You can't really see it here very well, but the wing tips are actually hyperextended and folded inside. Instead of remaining on the outside, the wing tips are folded in. And so this string very easily, let's go backwards one. It right at the ends of the wings, the butcher's twine comes underneath, crosses around the front, and you tie the legs so that they're in, and they make a V consistent with the shape of the bottom of the breast, right? The following the torso. Okay. Now you've got all of this bird that's all together in a ball. Season it before you truss it, after you truss it. If you're going to use butter, you're going to butter some on the outside. You might butter some under the skin. You want to do that before you truss it. If you're going to stuff things in the cavity, I would be real careful about that. Some herbs, some rosemary, some thyme, a little onion, some garlic, some lemon, but leave plenty of empty space in that cavity as well. If you overstuff it, you're going to have to cook the center. And if you're overstuffed, you're going to have a dry outside, and you may have raw in the middle. That's why today your Thanksgiving turkey, we've largely the last 20 years or so have gone away from putting your stuffing inside the bird and cooking it all together. The stuffing doesn't get cooked all the way. And so now you've got some sour manila.
Hey, chef,
Yes.
that twine, is it going just right behind like the middle of the hen?
So it's underneath,
Yeah.
comes above the legs,
Okay.
wraps on either side, and then either side goes underneath the leg,
And then ties.
either side, and ties up right up at the top. Just a simple bow tie. Not a whole lot of string everywhere. Again, it's just pulling everything in. Then when it's done, I'm going to share with you one little trick. Brian learned this last semester. I'll share this with the rest of you. We talked last week about how much I dislike taking your thermometer and poking the meat to check the internal temperature. This roasting a whole bird is not something that you're going to be able to get the feel of, because you've got skeletal structure, you've got all the bones, you've got different kinds of meat. The dark meat is fatty and actually takes longer to cook than the white meat, which is more lean. Here's your trick. If the skin is turning a really delicious, crispy, golden brown, you think it looks done, pull the pan out of the oven, take a pair of tongs, don't squeeze it, but hold it just tight enough that you can hold up your game hen and let it drip. The juices inside, a lot of it will be fat. If you've used a lot of butter, you're dripping butter, but most of what you're dripping are the juices that have collected inside the cavity. You're not squeezing juice out of the meat. Let those juices drip on a clean place, a corner of your sheet pan, your roasting pan, whatever kind of pan you're using. If those drips, you watch 3 or 4 drips where they pool. If that pool is clear, your chicken is done. If it is gray, if it's cloudy and still kind of dirty, or if there's any red in it at all whatsoever, if there's red in it, you've got completely raw meat still in the middle somewhere. It just needs to go back in. If you're dripping red, you're dripping blood, you've got probably at least another 10 or 12 minutes to go. If you're dripping a little bit of gray or a little cloudy, then give yourself about 5 minutes in the oven and check it again. And then give yourself blocks of about 3 minutes, and then another 3 minutes, and another 3 minutes. And continue to do that until you drip clear. Then you're good to go. Let it rest, 7 to 10 minutes. Let it rest. Resting also allows all of those juices to work their way back into all of the little muscle fibers. And then you'll have a nice juicy piece of meat that you'll eat, rather than lose it all on the plate on your first slice. Clear as mud? Let's understand this very important thing. I think I mentioned it a little bit last week, but you'll be roasting now. That's kind of the main cooking method for this week. And roasting, depending on the ovens that you have at home or at work, wherever you're going to do this, you have a convection oven is the stuff of today. Conventional oven is the oven and the heat that's been around for decades and decades. Generally, a conventional oven has one heat source, usually from the bottom, maybe from the sides. But the one heat source heats up the whole box. A convection oven, the word convection implies a fan inside the oven, and you may only have one central heat source, but the fan forces the air all the way around the food that you're cooking. And so it cooks faster. Convection is not necessarily better. It's just different. They're two different kinds of heat. Down here at the bottom, under the convection, is the air fryer. And any of y'all that have jumped on the air fry bandwagon and you've purchased an air fryer, good for you, happy days. Any of you that have not purchased an air fryer, listen to Chef. Chef is wise. Air fryer is nothing more than a small tabletop convection oven. That's it. It does not fry any of the food. It is just convection. So if you have convection at home already, that as an option on your oven, or you have convection, you don't need the air fryer. That's all I have to say about that. Let's look at a couple of pretty plates.
Hey, Chef, real quick.
Yeah.
On convection, most instructions will say, decrease, like, in the pastry department, we always decrease to accommodate for the convection. Can Can you go into why that is?
because it cooks faster.
Well, I know that, but what's wrong with it? I guess, well, I was going to say, isn't it okay to leave the temp at the normal so it will cook faster?
So
Does that make sense?
the pastry world is going to be different than the culinary world because of rules of chemistry that aren't in play with a roasted chicken versus a loaf of bread. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I guess my question was, for something like protein, can you not leave the temperature up so it does cook faster?
you absolutely can.
Okay.
So if a regular cookbook that you're following says roasted at 350 degrees or 375 degrees, do it in conventional or convection, either one. Just be mindful. Don't forget about it. 99% of cookbooks are written for conventional ovens.
Right.
So if something says roast your Cornish game hen for 45 minutes, that's a long time to roast a Cornish game hen anyway. Roast your whole chicken for 45 minutes, but you're using convection. That 350 or 375 degrees is going to be fine either way. But what's going to take you 45 minutes in a conventional oven is probably going to take you 27, 28 minutes in a convection oven, maybe even a little bit less. So I've said this before. I think all of you have heard me say this at least once. Time on a recipe is only a guide. Don't any of you take any recipe that says bake for 20 minutes, roast for 32 minutes, and take that as the biblical gospel Christian truth. It's false, but that's a guide. If something tells you to, roast this for 32 minutes, obviously, even in a convection oven, it's not going to be done in 8 minutes. But if I'm cooking in convection and I looked at a conventional traditional recipe, I'm going to cut that time in half. And that's when I'm going to start checking my doneness. So if you look at the recipes for this week, and I don't know what it is, I don't remember what it says, but if it says roast the Cornish game hens for 35 minutes, let's say, I'm going to start checking at about 15 minutes. I'm going to let it go in a convection oven. I'll let it go about 15 minutes and I'll start checking, and I'll judge it. I'll let the chicken drip. And if it's dripping bloody, I'm going to leave it for 7 minutes or so and then come back and check it again. If you do that, always mindful of what you're cooking, what you're doing, and you never forget it. It doesn't matter if it's conventional or convection, either one. Just know that convection is going to be faster. The rules change quite a bit with baked goods because you're dealing with leaveners. You're dealing with yeast, you're dealing with baking soda, you're dealing with baking powder, you're dealing with acids and combinations of things. You need it's just a little different. And in the culinary world, we don't care about any of that at all. I just want the meat to be cooked all the way. I want the potatoes to be cooked all the way. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
All right. Very quickly, I've got 4 plates. We're going to wrap up with these 4 plates. And instead of me telling you what I want to see or what I like to see, the same thing. I want you to give, whether we discuss 2 questions or not, you're going to do a vegetable. I think I hope she got you broccolini or broccoli rabe. I'd like you. Do you have broccolini? Is that what it is? Or does it leafy broccoli?
Broccolini.
Broccolini? Okay. Broccoli comes in broccoli rabe is the very, very immature broccoli. It's the stage of broccoli that is just leaf and it hasn't put out any florets yet. Rabe, the stalk, the leaves, very tender. Generally, they're sauteed. Broccolini is baby broccoli. The stems are very immature. The stems aren't real fibrous yet. And you generally cook, you prepare the whole stem as well as those little bits of florets on the top. And then mature broccoli that come to a crown, that broccoli head. And when it reaches that stage, the stems are a lot more fibrous and they're not really good mouthfeel. And so you want to trim those off most of the time. So I don't have pictures that necessarily show, I've got one or two that are quail. I've got one or two that are chicken. I just want you to say, if you are presented this plate, we have 4, and we'll wrap up with this. What feedback would you give if you're grading or evaluating these plates for service in your kitchens? On your market, set, go. Here's plate number 1.
Looks like Cracker Barrel to me.
Looks like what?
Cracker Barrel.
I was thinking my backyard barbecue.
Backyard
It looks like-
barbecue,
It looks like a cafeteria plate.
Mhm.
cafeteria plate.
Personally, I think the potatoes would be beneficial from a little bit more love. It just looks like they didn't really put a lot of care into the way they presented them, or
Yeah,
really
they-
like seasoning or anything.
Yeah, they look old, like they've been sitting like that for like an hour or two.
That may have come out of a steam table. We don't know, but yeah, this is kind of the slop and plop style of plating. Yeah, can we agree on that?
Yes, we can.
Compartmentalized plate. We want to go away from compartmentalization. Okay, break some habits.
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is quail. You will serve a game hen. So listen, I'm going to tell you already up front, I don't want to see any more than half the game hen on the plate that you present. You should not be presenting the entire game hen. That is too much meat for one person, too much protein for one person. Okay? Tell me what you think. What do you like? What do you not like? Go.
I like it. It's beautiful.
The first thing that caught my eye was the carrots. I like the carrot position and also the herbs that looks like, I think maybe thyme. I'm not 100% sure, but I like the position of the carrots and the way the sauce is underneath it as well.
Yeah, I love the risotto and the sauce, the carrots.
This is barley
Oh, is it barley?
or wheat berry.
Okay,
Looks like risotto.
yeah.
Oh, it's pregnant.
This is immature Italian parsley.
Now, chef, is that not similar to what I did?
It is.
Oh, okay,
So that's a no-no.
Yeah, I don't like it.
okay. Now, if that were cooked, what would you think?
What, the parsley?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if it's used in here,
Yeah.
then what else can you do besides stick a whole leaf on here? Because do you want to eat that?
Nope.
I don't know, I kind of do.
Well, it's your plate. I mean, it's your plate. I'm remember in the same way we talk about your plates the first half of our Zoom time every week. I'm talking about my preference. You're talking about your preferences. We're talking about a way of doing things, not the way written in the book. It's not written in a book somewhere. And so if you like a particular thing, then I had to learn what this meant early in my career. Now I get it. If you really believe something in your heart, then stick with it, defend it, but be able to articulate why. Why do
I
you,
like, sorry.
go ahead.
Well, I like it when it's in contact with the sauce and vegetables, but I can see above where it's closer to the hen that's distracting and doesn't do anything to the plate. Just my opinion.
Okay.
I agree. It's kind of really for me throwing off the focus of the sear on the hen, which is a really nice one. That's not the hen, but the bird itself.
Anybody else?
Is this one where you could have chopped up the parsley and just kind of sprinkled it on everything?
Could have. Your garnish should be edible. Going back to last week, a couple of plates we saw that had a section of rosemary being used as garnish. You're not going to eat that, even if it's just a little stem. You're not going to eat that sprig of rosemary. Chop it all up really fine and yeah, maybe. Okay. On a positive note, doesn't the green maybe add to a little eye appeal? Without it, wouldn't this be a very monochromatic plate?
Yes.
Maybe I would want to do something different with, this is a baby parsnip or white carrot. This is regular orange carrot. Try to imagine in your mind if, just from a color standpoint, where this plate may be different if I had a white carrot, if I had a purple carrot, and an orange carrot, and they were steamed, they were blanched and lightly sauteed, instead of maybe a little bit overdone. The mouthfeel may be great, but I've ended up with something very monochromatic.
I like the way the bird looks like it's been stuffed.
Stuffed, yes. I don't remember. I'm not sure what that is. It's a baby something. I think fig. And there is fig in the sauce. This is broccoli rabe
Oh, okay.
that's stuffed in it. This is the cavity of a quail.
I don't know if I could do that one.
Fair enough.
That's pretty.
Presentation is very pretty, but what is that, part of a breast?
Yes.
It almost looks like a snail.
Yeah, it's oddly
Oh.
shaped, for sure.
Only in French.
It looks to me kind of like the back of a salmon, sort of, kind of, like it was like air sealed and like it was just shaped differently in like a cylinder almost, and kind of just like tossed on top.
What is that?
Chicken breast.
Seal.
This is a potato and cauliflower puree. There is some pork belly.
Mm.
And I don't remember what else. I'm not a fan of the microgreens for the same thing that we've talked about before. But I'm going to continue to make that comment, not with the intention of brainwashing anybody. If you are a fan of the microgreens and stuff like that, be prepared to be prepared to articulate why. That's all. You like it, so stick to your guns. Being a leader is being decisive. You make a decision, you stick with that decision. The biggest positive that I want to say, and I want to leave us on this note, we're doing, everyone, we're doing such a better job each week of paying attention to and applying negative space. Less is more. Just continue to tell yourself that as we break ourselves from cafeteria plating, Cracker Barrel plating, Denny's plating. We continue to break away from that and continue this journey into fine dining, higher end food plating. Just remember, less is more. Keep telling yourself less is more. I want us to be plating now with the idea that the meal you're plating is the entree course of a 5-course meal. So you're going to have an amuse-bouche. That's French for amuse your palate, wake up your palate. You're going to have a simple little appetizer. You're going to have a soup or a salad. You're going to have this entree. You're going to have maybe a cheese course or something. You're going to have a dessert. Okay. Whatever it is, your plates are the 3rd course of a 5-course dinner. So when you plate, you remember you're eating 5 courses. Whether you actually eat 5 courses, of course, that's up to you. But I want you to keep that in mind. This is a pretty decent plate. It's actually a little bit of a heavy plate for 5 courses. Questions, comments, complaints?
Nope.
No, I'm good.
I see there was some, okay, all right, okay, all right.
Some of y'all have already gotten your food because I asked Jennifer today and she said for me to come tomorrow.
Okay. Did somebody,
She said she was,
anybody already get food?
They have that kids camp.
The kids
There's kids camp going on.
yeah, well, that's what I'm helping with it this week. So that's, I thought somebody said they already got it. So that's why I was
Yeah,
asking.
Jennifer wasn't there.
Yeah,
We
I
went-
got mine.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got mine.
yep.
Maybe it's the food one then that she still was packaging up. She said, just come tomorrow.
Okay.
Also, Chev, just a question. Do you do, when students volunteer, do you offer bonus points? Like when we volunteer for school events like camp?
Not here, not for the summer.
Okay,
The only extra credit anybody's getting is the pre-course survey and the post-course survey. And those total up to those 50 points, 25 for the first. And then at the end of the semester, there'll be another 25 points
okay.
post-course survey. So the 50 points will be it. And that should be more than plenty for just about all of you. Y'all are doing great. So that's all I have to say about that. If there's nothing else, okay, so listen, I know that a couple of you are leaving town, maybe for the weekend, for the 4th. It doesn't matter to me one way or the other. Do you want to Zoom next week? Or are you going to be on vacation? What's the story?
We're not going anywhere. My life is school right now.
Hey, I'm not going anywhere.
Me neither.
We will be getting back on Tuesday. So it may be kind of crazy, but
We'll Zoom. And if you're on, fine. And if you're not, the recording will be up maybe the same night or the next morning. A couple of these I've been able to get up on Tuesday night. It kind of depends on YouTube, how busy YouTube, how quick the conversion happens and upload into YouTube. But so we'll see if this goes up tonight or if this goes up tomorrow. Same for next week. So we'll see you next week. Good luck with the dressing. If you have any problems or questions or anything, give me a shout.
All right.
Hey, Chef, real
Yeah.
quick. One of the,
Bye.
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 one of the videos in your, this week didn't pop up and it's not loaded properly, I guess.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Do you know the title of it? Do you know which one? Check all of them.
I can look real quick. We were going through videos last night, so. Not that one. That was week 6.
Oh, it might have been week 6, yeah.
Thanks, week 6.
Okay, well, I'll check that too.
Maybe not.
Maybe it opened.
We just came across one yesterday that didn't.
It was,
It
it said it
wasn't
was
working.
not available, but now they're all open. So
on
maybe,
week
I don't know,
6.
maybe just double check them and see.
So the end of last week, Thursday and Friday, Blackboard had an issue. And
Mhm.
there was an outage. Y'all should have been part of the emails that went out from the school's IT department. It was a problem that originated with Blackboard, the company. It was out of UAPC's hands. And so I think there may have been a little ripple effect,
Yeah, that's possible.
but I have no other explanation. If they're working now, that's the only thing that would pop into mind. Maybe you got into it in a time when they were putting in a patch or, who knows what. If
Yeah. I just checked
my
both
cell
weeks.
number, right?
It's in the syllabus, correct?
It is. It's in the
Okay.
syllabus. Text me like what the title or what you should have the title of that video. If it's, week 6 about, I don't even know off the top of my head what week 6 is all about anyway.
Coaching.
Yeah, if that happens again, if it's poaching, if whatever it is, just shoot me a text. And, even if I'm not home, that'll be first thing on my mind when I get around near the computer, and I can give it a look and a fix or whatever. And then I'll shoot you a text back that I've seen it or it's not creating a problem on my end, and we'll try to figure stuff out.
If we
Okay.
text you, we'll make sure we let you know who it is, so you don't get some random text.
And I'm not gonna
That's-
text at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah, we won't
That's
text you.
helpful. Well, that's fine if you the phone's in a different room. So if you text
Oh, okay.
in the morning, it's summertime, and I really do enjoy not getting up till, I hate to say, Jennifer, you're at home. It looks like still with little kids, and probably can't even
Don't say it.
imagine sleeping in till the sun is already all the way up and everything.
must be nice. Must be nice.
And mine are
Your time will come.
almost 22 and 19 or 18. So I'm like, yep, they sleep. Well, the one doesn't live with me anymore, and the other one sleeps all the time. So he doesn't
My
have a ball.
baby, the baby is 24 and is in school in Idaho. Number 2 is married, and I told you I'm going to be a grandpa, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you
congratulations.
did. I didn't tell you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm going to be a grandpa due January 19th. So
Are they
right
local?
semester starts. No, I'm sorry.
Are they local?
No, they live in Idaho Falls, and they're going to be in Idaho probably permanently. My son-in-law, all of his family is in Idaho Falls. He grew up there. Both my daughters went to Brigham Young University, Idaho campus, which is Rexburg, just, I don't know, 30 minutes north of Idaho Falls. So Caitlin loves the cold weather and loves it there. And no, so I'm going to start disappearing. Fall, spring break and Christmas break. And so I'm going to go away and live out west for a minute, but
Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't.
that's fun. All right. Well, thanks, Chef. Y'all have
My
a good
pleasure.
week.
You
Thanks,
too.
you too.
Safe. See y'all next
All
week.
right. All right. Bye.